Good evening. It's Thursday, November 3rd, 2022, and welcome to the November edition of Your Questions Answered. I'm Michael, KB9VBR.
I'm Joe, KD9CJX, and with us tonight, the one and only
special guest,
Travis, W9HDG.
Hey
which,
there,
by
Travis.
the way, Rhinelander High School, home of the Hodags, the #1 school mascot in the United States of America, W9HDG, the Hodag.
By a very
I was going to have this graphic all queued up, and I forgot to do it.
There's a graphic. Let's see it. Oh, it's going to take a while.
See if I can. I'm trying to get a picture of a Hodag up here.
I did follow the agenda, apparently. I kind of blew this one up.
Oh, I should have, had that, in the background instead of.
There we go.
Oh.
The Hodag.
Now, I truly mean it when I say that's one sexy beast.
Why, thank you. You mean the Hodag.
The Hodag. You can see why that's
I certainly wasn't talking about you, Travis.
the number one school mascot nationwide, not just in the state, nationwide.
There was open polling, and so far no one has said that there was any sort of cheating or any scandal so far. Let's see how that goes. I'm sure it'll be a lawsuit eventually.
I'm sure there'll be, a recount.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't
Bring in the Hodag.
It wasn't even.
You know what? Let me be the first to say this. Hodag 2024 for president.
Ooh.
Well, there you go.
I'm there. I mean, he's over 35 years of age. He's a resident. He's a resident of Wisconsin, naturally born. Yeah. I don't see where he can't run.
I'd vote for him.
I would too.
I think the Hodag said, all hail our Hodag overlords.
Right. And you know what? He could probably round with Bourbon Supreme.
All right. Hey, we got people kind of filtering in here this evening. So let's say some good evenings. Gray from Pennsylvania. Alan there says, HDG sounds like it could be hard to pick out without saying phonetically. So,
Hotel Delta Golf.
Hotel Delta Golf.
I found out that Canada Jamaica X-ray is real hard when you're doing the CQ Worldwide single sideband this weekend.
Oh,
I don't know how many other things. Like, what else do you say for X-ray, guys? What else?
Xylophone.
Xanadu. Charlie, Juliet, what? X-ray. X-ray.
You got Vern in the house from...
Yes, I like that.
Yeah, from... One of these days he'll upgrade to WA DVD.
His motto, be kind, please rewind.
Oh.
All right. KG6LI.
Good evening.
The Radioactive says we need more long wire antenna experiments. We're going to talk about that in the second half of the hour, so make sure you stay tuned after the 7:30 mark.
Interesting side note, when 2,200 and 630 meters was opened up, a good friend of ours, Jerry, W9GLG, has a horse pasture in his backyard, and he's kind of where we all learned our antenna stuff, right? And I was trying to convince him though we could load up the pasture as a 630 or 2,200 meter antenna. We figured that it would require a loading coil the size of a 55-gallon drum. But we were going to do it, but his wife shot us down. Let's just say.
Oh.
And his wife is a ham. And I would assume that she would understand, but she said, "No, you can't load up." And even though it's already electrified, I don't see what the problem was with it, right?
We're looking great.
We're looking great.
Screen resolution.
Yeah. Yes, definitely check your screen resolution. I think you got our audio, but you got the wrong tab open. I'm not just going to say that.
That could be. That could be. Oh man. Yeah, Nick from Stevens Point. I think I missed him. There, grab
There
him
we
here.
go.
So
Hey,
yeah.
Nick.
So thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us. I got some cards in the mail, so I'm going to share a couple of QSL cards here. Then I think we'll kind of get into the questions because I've already tagged a few of them. We're going to grab. So I'm just going to embiggen myself. This is one actually came last month. WA7FLY. I worked this guy last summer. He was flying a 737 cargo flight, and he was over central Kansas, northwest Kansas at 35,000 feet. So worked him when I was on the beach up in Lake Superior. Here's another one, nice Canadian V1ARN. I love the tubes. Stock certificates.
Ooh.
Yeah. Wolverine.
Oh boy.
This one just came in the mail the other day, all the way from Allen, Texas. The POTA. This is the POTA van. Molly from Pennsylvania.
Notice how it doesn't say free QSOs on the side of it? That would be my van.
Oh, a couple more here. Palmdale, California. I love this one. This not sure what to say. What desert this is? No, they don't. So, thanks everybody for the cards. And remember, it's I do return QSL. So if you work me over the air and you want a card, send me one, and we'll get one back to you. So. Thanks a lot, everybody, for sending those cards. Let's see. I got a couple of questions I thought we could kind of get in here right away. And Marty, we'll start off with Marty here. POTA, Parks on the Air, best frugal priced battery. I think you got one you just bought not too long ago, Joe.
Dude, I just cleaned the bench and I just moved it. I'm like, it's right here. So, this is Talent Cell, right?
Yep.
This was separate pigtail here. So this is a 12 amp hour off Amazon, and I think I paid $60 for the cheapo LiPo 4 charger. Okay, so 12 amp hour is perfect if you ever going to travel by airplane. Because that's the max you could really have on an airplane. But I'll tell you what, 12 amp hour will get you a lot more than you think, even running 100 watts. It'll last you a good couple hours, a good afternoon at the park. If you have a little solar, that's probably gonna last you half a day or maybe longer with solar, depending on conditions. So, and at $60-$70 for the amount of time you get out of it, and it's lightweighted it is, don't even spend a penny on anything that's like lead acid. This has been a pretty good battery. I haven't had any problems with it. But I think you got one too, don't you?
I got the same one. Yeah, it's in my. People love this bag that I carry it in. So, if you recognize the logo, I can't find it there. If you recognize the logo, you're old like me.
Yeah. Oh, Michael, look in the comments.
Yeah. Oh, I got it.
Elon Musk has hit our chats.
I've got mine up on the
screen. Geez, Louise.
Do not click on the 69 site, guys. That's not endorsed by us at all. Holy smokes. It just got a little PG-13 there for a minute.
We got him. I got it cleaned out.
There you go.
So, all right. Yeah, it's I like it. 50-watt transceiver. I can run this for a couple hours. Mm-hmm. Good for an activation, I
mean, especially if you're just going to take an afternoon off and go out to a park and do it. That's perfect. Yep. It's not heavy. I got the pigtail, I think, for maybe $15. I think these are 25 amp fuses. I mean, you can put whatever you want in there. The wire is 10 gauge, so it's good for up to 30. And it came with power poles on there, so it's good. I think I did the terminations myself on this with number 10 and some ring terminals, and I just put a little heat shrink on there to seal those up.
Yeah.
I won't talk about terminals because that's the most boring video you can ever make.
45 uses the 15 amp hour Talent cell. The cutoff for flying is 160 watt hours. So the 15 amp hour gives you 153.6. And I think the 12 amp hour is about 126, 128 watt hours.
Yeah. So everyone I talked to said the 12 hours was a cutoff. 15. I mean, I have a 15. I have a 15 amp hour Bioenno, which are higher priced, but I think they're really good quality. And Bioenno comes with 2 pigtails, both a power pole and its little barrel connector for the charger. So that's kind of handy to have. And I like Bioenno, but you're going to pay a little bit more money. So if you're looking for something frugal, not the eBay, please don't buy anything on eBay. The Amazon ones are probably the way to go, like the Talent cell.
I've had good luck with the Wise I've got. It's a 20 amp hour. I think I paid $63 for it.
Yeah. So the LiPo 4 has really come down.
Yeah.
In price now. So you get the Chinese ones, and most of them are pretty good. So
there's a lot of good deals. Yeah, 20. Lars has got a 20 amp hour Losagy. I've got a 20 amp hour EcoWorthy. They're good. You get a 4 or 5 hours out of one of those, depending on what your transmit power is. So it's you don't have to spend a lot. There's My 80 is another brand. There's a lot that are out there in that $60 to $100 price point. So that are actually relatively good batteries.
Exactly. We have a couple of foreign visitors here tonight, Michael.
I just see that here.
I see Chile.
I am.
We're worldwide tonight.
Yeah, and there was another one.
SB1AR. I did not hear you on the contest this weekend, my friend. I would have loved to work. I was working Northwest Africa like a madman this weekend. I had a pipeline, the Azores, Morocco, Canary Islands, a couple other ones down in there. I'm just insane. It's been a long time since I've been working them, and on 15 and 10 meters, no less. It was just great. Yep. It's probably the best time I've had on HF in a long time.
Yeah. Vern's got a follow-up here question on the batteries. Any particular brand of LiPo chargers you like? I've been using one. It's called Expert Power. It's a little 5 amp charger, so it'll do the the 20 amp hour battery in a few hours, the 12 amp hour battery in like 2. I think I paid only like $30-$40 for it. It's a good charger. I don't know, Joe, if you've got a charger you're using.
I've really just been using the ones that come with the batteries. So the Talent cell had a cheapo, probably like a 1 or 2 amp one. It'll top the battery off. The Bioenno's got its own that's a little bit better, and I've actually used that one on the 12 amp hour one, and that works pretty good too. But
yeah,
I've never used like a off the shelf one personally.
I've got videos on both the review of both the Talent cell battery and the Expert Power charger. So you can search for those in my archive. Otherwise, I'll try to put links to those after the show. If we do if we cut this video out and do an excerpt or something like that. So
excellent.
So let's see. I'm going to grab another comment here. Mike asks, when you go activate a park with another amateur, do you use bandpass filters for each band, or how do you keep your interference between stations? Yes, we do. We do use bandpass filters.
Yeah, we did that this past weekend, definitely.
Yep, we did.
Yeah, when the three of us were out at the Flambeau River State Forest, I have a pair of bandpass filters, a 20 meter and a 40 meter one, and we were swapping those between the stations. And Joe, I think you were mostly on 15 and 10 meters. So
So yeah, I didn't
You-
necessarily need them, but that kept me
Yeah.
out of you guys when you guys were running 40 and 20. So
Right.
So at least if two of us, if we were on those other bands and we had filters going, we were relatively clean and clean for Joe's if he was on a third band, and yeah, we just kind of swapped the
well,
filters.
I was relatively clean for you two. I was having some problems on 15 when one of you
Okay.
were on 40, and I think it was probably Travis.
I think it was me.
Yeah, but you were also running FT8 at the time. It was one of those things like it was like bad for 8 seconds and it was good for 2. Not that the dulcet tones of KB9 VBR isn't very rhythmic. Just saying that it was pretty spot on FT8, my friend, and I know Michael wasn't running it. I'll mode shame you.
You'll mode shame all day long, I know, but I kept the power down. I could have really messed with you and ran more than 10 watts.
Well, 10 watts was enough that I could tell when it was about an S1 noise. And we're talking, we're in a state forest campground with no power. It was S1 noise, and when you kicked in, it was about S4, S5.
Oh,
I think the problem
our antennas were what, 60 feet apart?
Yeah, and they were oriented, and they were pretty much the same direction. I was kind of a little bit perpendicular to both of you, so it's.
But Joe and I were parallel, and 60 feet apart.
And so I'm gonna add more. I'll have to add a couple more filters to my arsenal. I'll probably, since these upper bands are really starting to take off, I'll probably get a 15 meter filter, and I'm still thinking about getting an 80. So it's they make these all-in-one bandpass filters where you can get all of the bands, in one big unit, and you just kind of flip them on and off. And I think that's good if you're not going to share. But if you're in sort of a group setting and one person's on one band and another person's on another band, it's really easy to say, well, you're going to be on 40 meter here. Take my 40 meter filter, and then you'll stay out of my hair, and vice versa.
How much were those a piece?
They are about 70, 75.
Okay.
Morgan Systems, surgestop.com, I think is the website. So,
okay.
See if I can up.
Recall.
See if I can bring these up. I think we might have. I think we've talked about these before too. Morgan Systems, surgestop.com, filter products, and they've got all the bands, and they make a high performance and a regular one. I think the only difference is that the power handling, and also the regular ones are like a 2-pole design, and the high performance are a 4-pole design. So they've got a greater level of attenuation, but $80 a piece. So they went up a couple dollars since I bought mine.
Well, inflation's all you know what.
So there, if you're thinking about working, group activities, group activations, field day, these things are definitely. These winter field day. These things they're worth the price you pay for them. So, all right, so we'll close that screen, and some of this. Okay, Brian asks, curious on the same band, is there a significant difference on a longer versus a shorter whip on something like the Wolf River coil? I think the general rule is that you want to have the most, more wire is better, or more whip is better, and less coil than there is with coil. So, because coil is an inductance, and you're not necessarily radiating as you would with the whip portion. So
right. So the shorter the whip, the higher your Q is going to be. So that means you have more losses within the coil. You want to have a whip as long as possible. I think we've been talking about the Sporty 40, the new coil from from Wolf River Coils, and that's really made for like a 218-inch whip. It's a big whip that it's made for. It's very, by the way, we put this on an analyzer. It's real good. Like it's stupid good. What we were seeing for number wise. But you got to have a long whip in order for 40 meters really to work. You can put a shorter whip on it, but your 3 dB bandwidth is going to be narrower and narrower, meaning that there's going to be less frequency or bandwidth that you can actually use on that. So definitely longer is better.
The Sporty 40 is designed for the 213-inch whip, like the one that Wolf River sells, or the MFJ whip. It'll also work with the Chameleon whip, but the Chameleon whip is about 11 inches shorter. So whereas the 213-inch whip puts the resonant point at the bottom of the band, the Chameleon puts the resonant point at the top of the band. So, but
if you have the 213-inch whip, you can shorten it a little bit for CW or vice versa, depending on what your flavor is.
Yep, you can. Yeah, you just shrink the whip about 5-6 inches, and then that'll move your resonant point to whatever frequency you want. Let's see. I got one more here. And a KD6FOZ asks, do you use any propagation prediction tools?
Travis actually did this weekend, or this past weekend. He picked up some leaves and he threw them in the air, and whatever way they blew, that was the way his signal was going to go.
And it worked. It was accurate, wasn't it?
His signal went all over the place. The fans are really good.
Joe said it was the darndest thing he'd ever seen.
Yeah, then he put his ear down to the ground and he said, "Buffalo coming."
Don't forget the dividing rod I used.
Oh, yeah, talk about the dividing rod. What happens around the campfire stays at the campfire.
Well, I was talking to one I used to figure out which tree to throw the wire in, but yeah.
Oh, tree to throw the wire in.
Yeah, that didn't work very well, did it?
No, I tried to eat my weight.
The propagation forecasts, that little widget you see on like QRZ.com and stuff like that, I try not to pay a whole lot of attention to it, because it'll say like band conditions poor, and you can still go out and operate, or it'll say band conditions great, and it'll, things will be kind of so-so. So it's propagation is really a black art more than anything else. I'll kind of watch the I like the Space Weather Woman. She's got a YouTube channel, and she does a really good job of telling you what the sun is doing and what you can kind of expect in more general terms. But more specifically than that, I really don't use anything propagation-wise.
Rule of thumb is solar flux index higher is better, A index lower is better. You want to see an A index of like 1, maybe 2. That's great. Solar flux has been in the 120s to 160s the past couple of months. But when we were at the bottom of the solar cycle, it was in like the 60s and 70s. And, everything sucks. When it's like at 140, things are really good. So those are the numbers I like to take a look. Also, a sunspot number. More sunspots are generally better.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 things that I look at. But the actual prediction of it's good, bad, or ugly on that widget, I don't pay too much attention to that anymore.
I like to throw a CQ out on FT8 and then go to the PSK reporter and see where I was heard.
That's one way to do it. And another friend of mine, Dave, he also does a lot of FT8, and he'll do to kind of judge if a band is open or not is even if he's doing phone or CW, is he'll go to that FT8 channel on the band and listen to how strong the signals are.
Yep.
And that's his general indicator if its conditions are good on the band, or if I should not waste my time trying to call CQ.
The other thing I'll do is I'll throw a heartbeat out on JS8.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, you can always go back to Whisper as well. I mean, Whisper is the original reverse beacon system. Throw a couple of calls out on Whisper and see where you're getting picked up as well.
Yep. So let's see. 45 says, the MUF map is handy. Maximum usable frequency.
I like the MUF.
The MUF,
I like the muff.
That's a really handy if you're looking for NVIS communications. Actually, that's a really handy tool to see if the lower, what your, while it tells you the maximum usable frequency is, it also tells you what your, what the bottom end is. So, if your MUF is really high, then you know that low bands aren't going to be performing too well, and you may not have very good luck with NVIS or near vertical incident skywave. So it's handy. You can use it both ways, looking for which bands on the top end are open and which ones on the bottom end. So, let's see. Yep. And then Vern, try it. If it doesn't work, try a different band.
There you go. Yeah.
What
If you can hear a lot of, if the band is busy, chances
Mhm.
are it's doing pretty good.
Yep. You never know until you get out there and kind of give it a shout. Call CQ. So I found that out too. Went up to 10 meters one day, called a few times, and somebody actually came back to me. So it happens.
There's a good story from one of our Elmers, Bob W9BVX. If you remember the balloon antenna, he always tells the story is like midnight, 1 o'clock, and he was up, looking for a glass of milk, trying to get to sleep, right? And he wandered down to the basement. He turned on the radio on 20 meters at night. He spun on the dial. There was nothing. And then all of a sudden he heard CQ North America, CQ North America. Of course, Bob just picked up the microphone and said, "This is North America, go ahead." And it was England. So sometimes you just got to call, right?
Right.
That's right.
Even at 2 o'clock in the morning, if you think 10, 15, and 20 are dead, spin the dial and see what you hear. You'll be surprised.
Yep.
CQ North America.
Oh, Pete loves how happy we are. So
we're all out of happy drugs. We're taking our happy pills. So you should have seen us before in the green room. We were pretty crappy.
Oh, geez. Yeah. That wasn't good. So
You know what really grinds my gear?
No, we got to save that one.
Segment yet, Joe.
I'm gonna grab one more here quick, and then we're gonna do our break. So let's see. Carl wants to know what would happen if you put a 33-foot wire on that coil, and he's talking about of course, the Wolf River coil or the Sporty 40.
I think that'd be a waste. If you can get 33 feet vertical, you don't need to have a coil.
That is true. I don't know what would happen with the Sporty 40, because this is tuned for the 40 meter band. I don't know. Maybe it'll throw you somewhere down in the 80 meter band. Who knows? Or
just
60
the
meters.
Magical number for 60 meters, guys.
Yeah. So try it. But
or maybe you'll have a 160 vertical. You don't know.
Yeah.
If we could get 33 feet in the air with equal radials, I wonder what would happen.
Hey, I might have to think about this now.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Next year.
I was just gonna say, maybe I'll just put the coil set up the coil and throw a wire in the tree and call that my homebrew antenna, Mr. Cheater.
Oh, well, no, but then you can't use the coil. You have to make your own
antennas
coil.
Don't need to be complicated, guys. And then say it wasn't the challenger who can make the most complicated, convoluted Rube Goldberg antenna.
I didn't do that either.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Simple is better. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. There you go. With the time hours changed for night shift and the time change is 20 meters out, and will 80 meters be an option? That is a really good question. There's with the Parks on the Air, they've changed how they do their late shift calculations. Instead of late shift starting at 00 hours UTC for everybody, now late shift kind of rolls around at roughly 15 degree increments from 00 UTC. So what that means for us in the central time zone is roughly that'd be like 5 hours UTC. It'll start at 7 o'clock p.m. local time, which is good. in Eastern time zone, it was 8 o'clock. Out in California, their late shift started at 5 in the afternoon. Now, late shift is no longer dependent on that one constant time, but it is relative to the time of the activator. So when UTC flips to 0 at your location, that's when your late shift starts. I think there's still lots of opportunities for 20 meters, especially, well, now this time of year, it's not so much because it's, we're getting down to the wintertime and things get dark so much earlier. But in the summer months, when you could certainly work that gray line on 20 meters, and of course 40 meters is going to be is still going to be gangbusters at your point in time when the Zulu day turns over. 80 meters is now, because we're in the winter months, is now more of an option, I think. I did a beautiful 80 meter late shift a 3 weeks ago, and it was noisy like 80 meters is, but otherwise it turned out really well.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that the time change is really going to affect too much with that, especially with the bands being as good as they are right now. I mean, again, this weekend, I was killing it on 10 and 15 meters, and this is like end of October, beginning of November. If we're going into the winter like this, I have pretty good hopes. So, again, the best thing you can do is just go on and make a few calls and see what happens, right?
Yep. Try those other bands. I think the key for a successful 80 meter late shift activation is going to be in the antenna you use. Probably not so much with a ham stick or even a vertical like the Wolf River, but getting lots of wire into the air. Lots of wire tends to really favor those low bands. So if you really want to kick it up on 75, 80 meters, throw up a big antenna. Okay, we're at the bottom of the hour here, and I think what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of see if I can pull up my string here. We've got some people that really help keep the channel alive and help keep the wheels rolling and things like that, and that's our patrons over at Patreon. We've got some great benefits to be a member of Patreon. Of course, you get to see the videos come out a day earlier, commercial ad free, so you get to watch the new videos uninterrupted. Also, you also get the full, if I do an activation video, I also release all of the contacts that I've made because the camera's rolling, that entire time. So there'd be like a 2-3 hour video of all of those contacts. And hey, you may, that's if we've made contact, that's probably a great way to hear yourself on the air, listen to what your station actually sounds like being received on the other end. So that's just a couple of the.
He will also give out his chili recipe. And
it was good.
It was good chili.
Actually, the chili seasoning I did put in the video description. We'll have to talk about that.
Well, there goes all of our income this month, Michael.
I'll remove it quick so that the early viewers got to see it. But
once it's out there, you can't pull it back in, Michael. We know this.
It's gone. It's out there. There's no pulling it back now.
The best chili seasoning you'll ever taste. So I want to thank our new patrons that have come in the last month at the friend level: Alan C., John Koch, and Mel Feely. Thank you so much for your support and joining the family to help keep the mission alive, to inspire and educate the amateur radio community. And of course, our producers. These are the people at the top level: Dave White, Paul Sweeney, Brian Lubig, Rand Gray, and Lyle. They're the ones that really go the extra effort to help with keep the channel moving. So thank you so much for your continued support and being a patron over at Patreon. And You can find that at patreon.com/KB9VBR antennas.
There we go.
All right. And now, a word for a response. KB9 VBR antennas are simple, effective, and affordable VHF and UHF antennas for amateur radio, MURS, public safety, and GMRS. Made in the USA with quality parts. Get yours online at jpol-antenna.com. Joe, you only got 10 seconds.
You said it was a 30-second ad.
It's a 10-second spot.
Wow, whatever happened to 30s? What if a guy's got to go?
Well, if you're going to get a beer, at least bring everyone one.
Yeah.
No. Hey, sometimes nature calls. All right? Don't really grind my gears. 10-second ads. What is this, YouTube?
No, it's TikTok.
Oh, a scout
Oh,
there. Shane
Lord.
wants to see a KB9 VBR Dutch oven cookbook. Well, let me tell you.
Yeah, but his wife doesn't. Oh!
I was cleaning out the back of the trailer last week, organizing stuff, and I got my big cache of recipes, and it's like this thick. We've got enough to put a cookbook together. So look for something to come out this winter. The KB9 VBR POTA Camping Cookbook.
Oh, boy.
Do
Michael, we were looking for a new club fundraiser.
Well, there we go.
Will there be some Joe breakfast recipes in there?
Bring bacon and toast.
And keep the dog away from the leftovers.
Oh, man, that was bad.
Hey, this year she didn't get any.
Yeah, no, Teal didn't get any this year. Last year, however.
Last year, somebody left the leftovers where the dog could get it.
My bad. That must have been one massive poop.
Oh, man. Alan says, yeah, the Spindrift Lemon is their favorite. I love this stuff, too. This is great. Another drink I like is, what's that? San Pellegrino, Blood Orange, but I can't find that locally. So, we gotta drink this stuff.
And I'm sitting here just drinking flavored water.
It is flavored water.
Technically, beer is flavored water, too, guys.
Well, there you go. Talking, before the break, we were talking about late shift. Brent noticed that they changed the stats definition for the late shift awards. Yes, they did. When they first introduced the changes, it was going to be roughly 8 p.m. local time. And then they found that looking at, there was a little bit of pushback on that because a lot of parks closed by 8, 9, 10 o'clock, and that didn't give you enough time for a proper late shift. So they moved it back an hour to 7 p.m. local time. The best way to tell, when local, what the late shift time is to go, I'm just going to pull a park up here.
453.
They will say, if you look at a park, and I just grabbed one here, it will say early shift award times, 9 UTC to 15 UTC, late shift award times, 1 UTC to 9 UTC. So this tells you that at this time is when late shift or early shift for that park begins. So if you don't know when that time is, look at the POTA info page for that particular park entity, and that'll tell you when late shift activates. So, okay.
And if you're over 65, late shift starts at 4:30 in the afternoon, your local time.
Yeah. Since
Got to
we're
get to
talking
the Purple
about,
Club by 5, right?
yeah. Since we're talking about batteries, what kind of batteries you use in your camper? I got 100 amp hour Weize, WEIZE battery. Last year I had a 50 amp hour, and I found that with my refrigerator, after 2 days, it would be if I was in a very shady spot, my levels, the power levels would be way, way down, like 20%. So I was able to squeeze a 100 amp hour battery into the back of the camper. And now I can go 3 days in full shade with my refrigerator and still be at 50%, 40%, the worst case scenario. So it's great. I like that. I like that extra, that extra margin with the bigger battery.
And then they went and got an electric blanket. And,
Oh, yeah.
all that.
You had your electric blanket, and I had my furnace. Poor Joe slept in his truck.
I had a sleeping bag.
I had a dog.
Well, that helps a lot too.
I just bring a house with me.
There you go. But yeah, and then I got the solar panel. So if we get sun, that'll pump energy back into the battery, and that'll extend your stay. But sometimes in the full sun, you get into some really shady spots, and or if it's a really hot day too, then the fridge runs longer, and that can really tank your battery too. I don't think we've never run it down with the electric blanket yet.
But he has an electric blanket.
But I do have an electric blanket.
Lucky bastard.
And I know how much power it pulls too. So, so it's always good. If you're putting a power system together for your camper, trailer, things like that, even if you're doing, just taking your battery out into the field, is to know your power requirements, and to know your what your usage is, what your power budget is, because then you can anticipate how long things will last. If you don't know what your power budget is, if you don't know how much energy your devices draw, then that's how you get stuck in the middle of nowhere with a dead battery.
That's when you end up knocking on my door saying, "My battery's dead. I can't pull my slide in."
Yep.
Oh.
I've had that happen.
That's why I carry one of those booster packs in my car now. So.
Oh, you don't have a slide though.
No, but I've been out activating and ended up with a dead car battery. So.
Yeah, I remember that story.
So
I guess it's better than getting a fly in your intake.
Well, I did that too.
I did do that. That thing right there, when I bought it, if I can get the pointing right.
Yeah.
When I bought it, had a dead fly on the mass airflow sensor and was.
Yeah, that extended my
common theme here.
That extended my Michigan trip for an extra day. So, but hey, we promised everybody we were going to talk about our homebrew antennas. So
there we go.
Nobody told me I had to go get mine. It's still in the garage.
No, you don't have to get yours. But the video that dropped this week was the Homebrew Antenna Challenge. So the three of us were out at the Flambeau River State Forest. That's in northwestern Wisconsin, Sawyer County. Beautiful remote camping area. It's rustic.
We
rustic
were in the middle of
but,
nowhere, guys. Like way out there.
Yeah, how far was it to winter? Like 20 miles?
I thought it was close to 20. It's close to 20 going back to Phillips too.
It's 20 miles to Phillips, 20 miles to Winter almost. So
it's about 40 to Park Falls.
Yeah,
and
not
really. There's nothing in winter, folks. Let me tell you, winter is a pretty appropriate one.
Did you hear something about? Did you say you heard something about banjos when you went in there?
Oh yeah, there was some banjo playing along the way. Let me tell you, people making comments about my dental work too.
So you had a purdy mouth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's
squeal for some reason. I don't know.
The goal of the weekend though was to build an antenna, deploy it in the field, and the more you could put together in the field, the better, I guess. But we did say that if you were going to roll your own unit or transformer, you could do that ahead of time, which was good because otherwise we'd spend half the day making these things. But
Joe would have been on the air making contacts while Michael and I were winding our transformers.
Because I thought simpler was better. And I made better contacts, and I never had a problem.
Yeah. We all did very well. So
we did.
You know, you guys are, we got to make a panel. We got to do this and this. Like, boys.
Well, I could have done it your way too. But...
I could have done it your way too. Well, then why didn't you? Why?
Didn't feel like it. Felt like cheating.
Why is it cheating? That's one of the oldest antennas in the book.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I've had some old antenna books, by the way, guys. So really, why is that cheating? So I just put 73 feet of wire on the back of the tuner, right on that little stuff that says random wire, and that tuned 80 through 10, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm not sorry. I'm really not. And then I put a 73 foot counterpoise on it, and it worked perfectly. Did it have any RF for the shack or anything like that? I just used a little MFJ portable tuner, and everything worked fine. So.
There you go. Well, that's basically, you just did what we did. I decided I wanted to build a 9-to-1 random wire, so that's what I put together with the the ferrite 3 turns or 3 wires, 9 turns, and worked really well. And then Travis,
that's a 140-43, Michael.
That is a 140. Yeah, it's an FT 140-43 ferrite core. So. That's good enough for, good 18 gauge enameled magnet wire, good enough for 100 watts. You could probably do 100 watts CW with this. I don't know if I do 100 watts
your digital board bursts into flames.
Yeah.
Well, it's open, so it's air cooled, right?
Right.
You put a
there you
fan
go.
on it.
I might put this out as
maybe submerge it in liquid nitrogen.
There we go. I might put this out as my winter antenna, so it's in the backyard. We'll get some more contacts on it. And then Travis, what did you do?
Well, I built a 49-to-1, and that basic 49-to-1 transformer. I had a capacitor across shorting the from the feed point to ground just to kind of widen the bandwidth in the upper bands, and then I fed it with 130 some feet of wire.
Mm-hmm.
A little compensating coil on it about 6 feet or so off of the balun just to pull the resonance down in the upper bands. And other than, Joe likes to point out that the tree tried to eat my weight, I had fun. It worked well.
There you go.
Didn't have to fight with a counterpoise like you were.
I don't know if I really fought with it. I was just smart enough. I kept it on the spool so I could just wind it right back up.
Yeah.
I was talking Michael's counterpoise. They kept trying to kill us all.
Well, Michael came unprepared.
Huh?
Michael came unprepared.
I was totally prepared.
That's why you were bumming wire off me.
No, I didn't want. Yeah, I had my spool of wire.
But hey, look, Joe's got a bunch of wire right there. Let's see what it's 74 feet on the dot.
Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free?
I did have a thought
that you were dating your wife and that you married her.
I had a thought though, Michael, after watching the video that dropped. You mentioned that you cut the wire for the velocity factor, and I was thinking about how your dips were above the amateur band.
Actually, I didn't. I should have, but I didn't cut.
You did.
Well, I said I probably should.
Okay,
well,
I did. Yeah, that to mean you did.
Oh, yeah. Well, it would have been. If I did, it would have been. I'd have to remove about 3 feet. I think it was. 4% of 74 feet would be close to 3 feet. But yeah, no. I after I got everything up in the air, I said, let's see how this works.
Yeah,
because it was good enough. It was good enough.
It was.
If I was going to do it for good, even set up in my backyard here, I'll probably spend a little bit more care in getting that wire the right length. So
I was just thinking it where you were.
He's not gonna give you a damn. He's just gonna put it up there and let it hang. Oh, did I say it out
loud? Oh, geez, Louise. So, but it was a really good time. I think we'll have to do this again because Brent says So well, that's not the one. We'll get to that one in a second. Yeah, here it is. I challenge you guys to use the homebrew antennas for winter field day too.
No.
Yes, yes. You made your antenna. Now you have to use it.
So here's the deal, boys and girls. Winter field day is a little different. First of all, there's a lot more alcohol involved. Second of all, you don't want to really be outside a lot in Wisconsin the last week of January putting up antennas. You want to just get them up, get the coax inside, and stay warm. That's the deal.
Mhm.
Now, some of you guys, I see like there's an N4 there, so you're probably down in the Florida area. Your winter field day is probably 60 degrees and maybe a little overcast, you know? Yeah. What was that? What was the temperature the one year we were out there? Minus
like
15. And
Yeah,
I'm
it
hanging
was
an
cold.
antenna. I'm not going to be digging around with anything homebrew. I'm going to get it up in the air. You're not going to need a lot of tuning, and we're going to make contacts and have cocktails. That's it.
There we go.
No, it's antifreeze. It's antifreeze.
I might bring this one. But it's already made, and I got my wire, so
There
it's
you go.
Well,
Yeah.
I could bring the NFED. That one's already made too.
yeah.
Assuming I come.
Yeah, you can bring whatever you want, guys. There's not a lot of trees where we normally go play winter field day. I'll tell you that.
Halfway
Brent's
there.
in
Kentucky.
Brent's
not
in
Florida.
Kentucky, so it's probably 30 degrees.
Right. Well, it's still probably above freezing. That's all that matters.
Well,
That is
Yeah,
a
you
true
know-
statement.
you can spend your time perfecting your antenna or spend your time making contacts. So
I
it's
agree. Unfortunately, I'm one that tinkers.
At the end of the day, just call CQ and shut up, right?
Yep.
Right.
All right. So yeah, go if you haven't seen the video, go watch it. It's really fun. We had a great time, and it's a fun video, and you're going to learn some stuff about homebrew antennas. So it's we made it instructive too. Alan asked, did we ever kilo award any parks? Oh man, I am so close to a kilo on the Ice Age Trail. I'm only 40 contacts away, and I think I might get that done this weekend if it doesn't rain on Sunday. So
Well, I've got if they would repeat kilos, I've got 2 at the National Forest.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, you've been a busy boy there last summer.
Yeah, but
so
you live there. That really shouldn't count.
It doesn't say anything about not having a quasi-permanent station at a campground host site.
I think you should be disqualified.
So
You're just
we'll
jealous.
get that. We'll get that. Yeah, I'll have that kilo on the Ice Age Trail real soon. I've just been kind of, it's only 40. I've been sitting there since Labor Day with only 40, and I've just been kind of saving it for a special occasion.
Where are you going? I'm going to be in Wausau tomorrow.
Oh, I'll be in town tomorrow. Sunday is the there's a ham fest in Appleton.
Oh, okay.
So on the way home, I'll hit a park and do the Ice Age. There's Hartman Creek State Park. I can do a twofer, the park and the Ice Age Trail.
There you go.
So we'll hit that on the way home. But, so it should be so listen for me on Sunday. I don't think I'll get out. I was thinking about getting out on Saturday, but they're talking like 3 inches of rain this weekend.
Oh yeah, not looking good. It could be a little soggy, guys. At least here in the central Wisconsin area.
It's not supposed to rain that much up here by me.
I think it's the Wass area is going to get 2 inches, and then eastern Wisconsin was going to get like up to 3 in the Fox Valley. So.
And actually, I just saw the forecast from Milwaukee Sullivan down in the southeast. There's the potential, a brief potential, for tornadic weather down there. We're talking November, folks, okay? In Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So
it is certainly crazy. So.
Well, I'm looking for enough rain now that I look at it. I'm looking for about 1.5 inches.
But I'm going to get back to this question from Brent. So question for you guys. Excuse me. Winterfield Day is only a couple or a few months away. What kinds of things can we do now while it's still warm to be ready for it when we gets here? You know,
Get a
I
plan.
think that,
Just get a plan. Like,
Yeah,
what are
plan.
you going to 2 antennas? You need a long wire, you need a vertical. Get them up. I mean, if you're a single person operator, that's all you really need.
mhm,
However, and a place to do it.
and a place to do it. I think that's the
Preferably a
key.
place that's warm.
Yeah.
Yes. You said it right there. A place with a fire, a place with a roof, a place where you're out of the wind, right?
Yeah.
We know what it's like here in January. It's not good. But
No.
yeah,
You,
I don't know.
I mean,
What if you just sometimes I just like to go out and wing it. Like, yeah, I brought some stuff. Let's put something up in the air, right?
Right.
You know, field day, everyone plans, everyone over plans. You know,
Yeah.
because it's an emergency communications operation, folks. What a field day is like. Well, what can you do? Well, I got this in town. I haven't thrown that up in wire. Yeah, let's see what it does, right?
Mhm.
You know,
Winter,
that's how I feel about it. It's
it's a
casual.
lot more. It's a lot more free form. You know, it's
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
So what you're
So-
telling me is,
Especially when the ground comes out.
So if I
but
come
yeah,
back and bring snowshoes, is that what I'm hearing?
I
Some-
have worn snowshoes to winter field day before, yes,
mhm.
but the snowshoe grog is not allowed anymore.
That's not the snowshoes I was referring to.
Some years it's been, you know, we've hardly had any snow at all, and then other years it's just been that cabin has been totally socked in. So it's
Oh, that one year we didn't even make it out there. We couldn't get in through the driveway.
couldn't get in. It was too much. It was a 3-foot drift, and yeah, it was bad.
Right. Well,
So
there's
I-
a tractor out there now, so worst case scenario, we can always use a
Mhm.
tractor.
I think the key. I think the key for winter field day though is that if you've done other outdoor operating activities, you're more than halfway there to doing a good winter field day activation. If you're in a warmer climate, you know you only want to operate for a few hours. You could certainly do it out of your vehicle. You know, if you don't want to commit for the whole 24 hours, if you're in you know up north like we are. Get something that gets you out of the wind that maybe holds a little bit of heat. Ice fishing shanties, ice fishing tents are really popular with the winter field day crowd.
With propane heaters.
With a propane heater, yeah, the Mr. Buddy heater and an ice fishing tent, and you can work all night in one of those. Cabins, you know, I don't think. There's different rules for indoors, outdoors, and
home.
And home. Yeah. So, you know, depending on if your cabin is insulated or not. If you're in a off-grid camper that's not or a utility trailer, that would still be considered outdoors. It's really those rules get really crazy. But
this year there's a new winter field day committee that's running the contest.
Mhm. Yep.
So we'll be interested to see how things go with this year, but I always look forward to it. One thing that we kind of threw around when we were planning our homebrew antenna weekend at Flambeau River is that Flambeau River Forest has a yurt that you can reserve.
Ooh.
A yurt.
that would be fun.
Now,
Yeah.
does a yurt qualify as indoor or is it outdoor?
I'm going
I guess-
outdoor.
We'll have to look into that a little bit.
We'll have to figure that out how that falls into the rules. So I was out camping last weekend, and there's this a site across from me set up one of these big canvas hot tents
Oh, I like those things.
with the stove. Yeah, it was.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I don't know if
It
I
was
want to spend a
beautiful.
weekend in a tent with you guys.
Some other ideas. Let's see. Tarps around the canopy. There you go. Yeah, if you can cut the wind, that's what does it. It's not so much the cold as it is you got to really just get out of that wind, and then and if you got a propane heater in there, all the better. Bushcraft shelter there, yeah.
Ooh,
Build
there
a
we
shelter.
go.
I
Boy
get
Scout-
into those videos sometimes on YouTube, the bushcraft guys. That is a good one.
That would be.
You know, Boy Scout style. You can build that Quincy and then operate out of there for 24 hours. So it's that'd be a lot of fun.
Was it a snowbank? I just hook up to that thing behind me
Yeah.
and drag it off somewhere. But it'll be in snowbank mode by then.
Radioactive right there. He's got the proper formula.
Firewood
Yeah.
and bacon.
Lots of
A little
firewood.
bit of antifreeze. A little bit of antifreeze.
A little. Okay. Got to make sure the P-trap's completely full, Travis. Just saying.
Right.
Everything's better with bacon. That's for sure. That's for sure. So he's got M9's got 9 acres to set something up. How long of a wire can I put up? Oh my gosh,
Yes.
with 9 depends on what you got for trees, but you can do 9 acres. You could put up a full wave loop if you wanted to. So
Mhm.
it's
160 would not be a problem.
no, if you got the supports. If there's trees that are in good locations to kind of do that, but. So, all right. Yeah, now I'm looking forward to Winter Field Day, and that's only a few months away, end of January.
Brent says 74 feet. 74 feet or 133. Those are your magic numbers for an end pad.
Mm-hmm. For the random wires.
Yep.
So,
Your randomizer, sorry, yeah.
yeah.
Well, for end pad.
And infit half wave, 67 feet. Actually, 130-ish feet. So I think the random wire is a little bit longer, 135 or so. But yeah. M9 is in the dense woods with no grass anywhere. So, certainly,
It's like Travis had. Dense, but no grass anywhere.
like the national forest there.
Yeah, all trees, no grass.
Oh my gosh. So. Let's see if I got any more. I think I'd grab a couple questions here. Fly fishing. Enjoying the fly fishing is enjoying the fox hunting videos. So go for it. Go for fox hunting. It's a lot of fun. And we got to do a fox hunt again sometime. So
I still got a hunt in springtime.
It's been a while. Maybe a winter one if we can find if there's
Winter fox. Should I spray paint the fox white?
And then throw it in a snowbank.
Throw it in a snowbank.
I'll make sure I put a little tape on it to make sure it's waterproof.
Yeah.
Just don't forget where you put it.
Shane's going to be at the Ice Age
no
Trail on
problem.
Sunday, so we'll have to try to get a park to park. Probably be early afternoon by the time I get on the air. Like I said, I'm going to be at a ham fest in the morning. Let's see. Of course, Winter Field Day in Southern California is pretty comfortable. A light jacket's all that needed, even in a plastic tent. So you probably got shorts and flip-flops on too, I'm guessing.
Come up here while the real men do Winter Field Day.
Oh man. So we got a couple of questions that came in on email here. I just want to make sure that I grab them before we kind of finish up here. Let's see. HNX Media was asking, was wondering if there are any way to get new parks added to the Parks on the Air website listing.
Good luck.
At this time, no, there is not, unless with certain exceptions, because they're on a moratorium right now. They're trying to expand the program into other countries, so they're kind of not adding new U.S. parks and entities. I know I've talked to our local mapping coordinator, and he's kind of making a list of new entities that he wants to see added when the moratorium is lifted. So if you've got park ideas, you should always talk to your mapping coordinator and see if they're also kind of keeping a list on the side. I think there's the only exception is if a new state park is created or a new entity is created, the national park, state park, etc. Then they will add that to the list. But they're not going to add like new wildlife areas, natural areas, or things like that at this point in time. So, Another one too. This one. Something that we can talk about. Marvin says, he's talking about your tactical 2-meter video there, Joe.
Oh,
and it's a little bit about it was going to bring up the wilderness protocol. So
okay.
I thought that was something we could chat on a little bit, because the other side of the one other thing to consider is to have other people monitor the repeaters in the area of hiking trails, and that's something that's called the wilderness protocol. So it's
right. So the wilderness protocol, if I remember correctly, is that all stations should be monitoring and maintain radio silence at the top of the hour and the bottom of the hour for a couple of moments to see if there are any stations out there deep in the woods, deep below the noise floor that are trying to call for help. This comes from maritime stations. Used to be required to maintain radio silence for 5 minutes at the top and the bottom of the hour and monitor 2 specific frequencies for emergency distress calls. So in our, or at least my perspective, most of us have radios that are on scan, right? And I think that if your radio's on scan and you're in a situation, are you really going to wait to the bottom of the hour or top of the hour to call for an emergency? I don't think so. And the idea that everyone turns their radios off or stops transmitting for a couple of moments at the top and the bottom of the hour, I really just don't think that's feasible nowadays. I think if you're in an emergency, call for help. The only thing that the wilderness protocol really does is allows an individual to reserve a little power by only making calls at a specific time. But if you need help, right? And I don't think that waiting is going to make much of a difference. So
yeah,
that's my thought on that. I still strongly advocate that you do your research, you make sure you have the repeaters in the area programmed, you know how to program something in if you have to on the fly, and you have 5.2 simplex as a backup. Okay, that's the main thing, and I think you got to keep your plan simple, right? Major repeaters and 5.2 simplex. If you get outside of that, I think you're really probably going to hurt yourself more than anything else.
Yeah.
But I really think that just stick on 2 meters. Maybe there's a 440 that repeater that works really good and monitored, but realistically, it gets a couple of 2-meter repeaters that everyone uses in the area and 5.2 simplex, and that's kind of where you need to stick with, I think. Bringing HF and stuff into involved, I think, is also, that's probably, I don't think you need to bring HF into it.
Well, that depends.
VHF, 2 meters is probably enough.
If you've even got that equipment with you.
Exactly.
If I wanted, if I had HF equipment and I needed to check in, if I needed to call for help or something, I'd probably 40 meters, like the mid cars or south cars type nets,
Right.
Find a net that's operating.
20 meters, 14,300 maritime net, right? There's always a net in 14,300, guys.
Yeah.
And they're all maritime. It's the Coast Guard net. There's a couple of nets in there. 14,300 is another good one if you have HF capabilities. But realistically, we're talking someone with an HT. Is really what we were talking about. So, go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just pulled up the screen here. Wilderness Protocol simply recommendation for those outside of repeater range to monitor standard simplex channels at the top of the hour, and it's all the calling channels. 146, 5.2, 446, et cetera, et cetera. So,
one thing I didn't mention, and this is more of a convoluted program, is that if you are in a group, there's always the potential that you could put a crossband repeater together, a portable crossband repeater, and then have that crossband into a 2-meter repeater someplace. That's a little technical, and you probably want to talk to the repeater owner before you'd ever set something up like that. But we used to have a 2-meter or a crossband repeater that we could program here in Wausau, and that we could basically use it as a 2-meter link directly to Wisconsin Emergency Management down in Madison, which is 120 miles. So it's at least 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
We could work that. So crossbanding into a existing repeater is possible. It's something that can also have side effects. So unless you know what you're doing and you have permission from the repeater owner, that it's something maybe don't put that number one on your list. But I think there are some areas if you're able to set up a crossband portable someplace and then you have your HTs, that might be something to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Fred asks, what about the 3-3-3 rule? And that's something that I hadn't really been too, familiar with. So I just looked it up here quick. And basically what the 3-3-3 rule is that, 3 minutes, turn on your radio every 3 hours for at least 3 minutes, channel 3. So I guess the big question will be what channel 3 is. If you're using something, outside of the amateur radio realm, I'm guessing that it would be like GMRS channel 3, MERS channel 3, FRS
CB
channel 3,
Yeah,
CB channel 3.
I'm guessing
CB channel 3.
Yeah, I guess if you have a prepper group or there's individuals that you want that you are going to rely on back and forth,
Mhm.
that's different. I mean, you'll have your own protocols, I guess. But I'm
Yeah.
talking for general use, hiking, camping, out in the backwoods, stuff like that.
Mhm.
The prepper community is a little bit of a different situation. You guys have your own thing, but for the average folk, when I go hiking on the Ice Age Trail, I always bring an HT with me with APRS.
Mhm.
So at least I got a beacon going out at somehow somewhere, and I have a way to communicate.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, is to have a way to communicate and have a way to get in touch with people. That depending on it just irregardless of what method you're using to communicate. So have a plan. If you're using amateur radio, have a plan for amateur radio. If you're using GMRS, have a plan for GMRS, so that there's always that fallback. What channel to go to call for help. With whatever radio service that you're using. So,
yeah, and from an amateur perspective, we really don't use channels other than 60 meters. So and then again, every 3 hours, right?
Mhm.
So now, if I break my ankle at 12:15, do we wait till 3 o'clock? Again,
Well,
the idea of conserving power when everything hits the fan, you don't have a way to charge it no matter what. We're talking about everyday situation here, folks. And in my video, I said bring an extra battery, bring a AAA pack. Turn the power down if you really need to.
And I think
Go ahead.
And I think the general expectation, though, too, with the 3-3-3 and the wilderness protocol is to have other people on the outside listening in. So it's with hopes that if you have an issue, that somebody can catch your signal.
Right, and that's the thing. Someone has to be listening on the other side, and I think what we need in the community, we just need to make sure that we are espousing and making sure that when we have a radio nearby, it's in scan and we're listening.
Absolutely.
Whether you're in a major city or you're out in the middle of nowhere, if you have a radio in the shack and you're doing something down there, just turn it on and put it on scan, right? Usually, to me, it's usually just background noise to keep me occupied. But
definitely got to listen. Definitely got to listen to the radio more often, either on scan or on the local repeaters. So, well, let's kind of wind things down. I got a couple here I just want to grab here quick. Let's see. Radioactive says, overall, do you notice the band's improving?
Yes,
they are. They are. This last month, we've had a lot of great activity on the higher bands. 10 meters, 15 meters, 20 and 40 are still I mean, that's 20 and 40 meters is the bread and butter of the amateur radio world. But yeah, I even made a Parks on the Air contact on 12 meters last weekend.
Nice.
So
That's like a fine caviar, Michael. Not everyone can afford a 12-meter contact.
Yeah. I got my 10-meter radio out. I'm gonna get I put it here to remind me I got to put this thing on the air. So it's
even though he's got a full 100-watt radio that can do 10 meters, he's just gonna get the HTX 10 out and fire it out.
I'm gonna get my little Radio Shack HTX 10 out, and we're gonna do some 10-meter fun with that.
It reminds me. So I had actually borrowed that for a while from Michael when I first got licensed. Then I went over to Travis's house, and with a grinder, we took a CB antenna, we ground it down to 10 meters. Took forever because it's stainless steel whip, right? But yeah, we got that. I used to drive all around with that thing on the car. That was great fun.
You thought you were so cool.
I was so cool. You shut your mouth.
It's a fun little radio.
I helped you install that thing.
It really grinds my gears. Travis ruining my fun.
That was a blast.
That was a good time. Trimming that antenna right out of the streets.
So,
oh God, my neighbors were looking outside going, now what is going on?
Yeah, I mean, they weren't surprised.
No, my neighbors get used to my shenanigans really quick.
So David says, any better bands for end-fed wire? I have an Icon 7410 and the AH4 tuners. So, it's that AH4 with wire is going to tune just about any band you want to be on. Like I said, 20 and 40 meters, bread and butter for amateur radio. But, the other ones, we're still climbing up on the solar cycle.
I can't wait to see the peak.
It's going to be at least 18 months, 2 years before we get to the top. I think, because we're not even halfway there yet.
No.
So this is the second year of the solar cycle. It's an 11-year cycle, guys.
11 years.
I mean, it's going to be probably 3-4 years before we hit the peak, really.
Yeah.
Before we start hitting the downward slides. So, and even then, downward slides for the first few years are going to be fine.
Oh, yeah. No, it's really going to be good.
Ride this one out. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. We've been in the basement so long. It just when things start climbing, it just gets so exciting. And
the last cycle wasn't great.
No, it wasn't. No.
So we've been it's been a dark place for a while. We've been in the basement for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it took a long time.
I blame climate change. Totally.
Yeah, we'll go with climate change.
You know what grinds my gears? Climate change.
No, Joe, what grinds your gears?
Oh, wait. And
we're not ready for that yet.
I think we're past time. We better get it done sooner or later here, boys.
It's time for that.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Yeah. Here it is, boys and girls. Well, I didn't get killed by my wife from the last one here because I threw her under the bus. So, hey, I guess she isn't watching, right? Or you guys didn't tell her, one or the other.
One of the two. Two.
So, what really grinds my gears? People who complain about 5.9s in a contest. I'm looking at someone that's at this video right now.
What?
It ain't Michael.
Me.
So everyone knows that you're 5.9 in a contest. No matter if it took 5 minutes to get the call correct.
You came up 5'9".
5'9", right?
You're 5'9".
Right.
Everyone's 5'9".
Everyone's 5'9" in a contest. Just drop it, guys. If you're really hoping for a signal report in a contest, and you're not really contesting here. The purpose of the contest is to get as many freaking points and contacts in a little amount of time as possible. So I don't really care. Every now and then I'll tell someone, "Oh my God, you're 30 over 5'9". Right? Because you really were smoking in here. And I'm going to give you a little credit for that, especially if you came from Argentina. Oh, would you be upset? I would still put a 5.9, okay? Because you know what? My app, the N3FJP, just auto-populates 5.9. I don't care.
5.9.
You put a 5.5 in there, you do whatever you want. But 5.9, okay? Let's just 5'8.5". Yeah, I'll put the Mad Hatter hat on here. 5'8.5". Really, that's what it is. It's a contest. Now, when I'm not contesting and I'm doing Parks of the Year, I try to give a real accurate one. I'll try to tell you, hey, you're about 4'4", a little fuzzy there. I got you, but we're working you. And if you listen to the Nets, the contact Nets, wherever the awards Nets, wherever it's trying to get like work at all states and everything, those guys are brutally honest. 22 rifle, like, whoa, you're giving them a 22. That's almost an insult, right? I think I might have one of my laptops here. Oh, there we go. So let's just all agree everyone's 5'9" in a contest. Now, the other hand is that the bands open up magically on contest weekends, right? Because you're hearing all that DX stations, and they are just booming in, right?
Propagation's wide open,
right? You get enough RF into the atmosphere, all of a sudden it just starts populating. It's like a meltdown. It's a runaway diesel. But drop it. Like, there's people that get insulted because someone said they're 5'9". You didn't really give them a true report. Come on, it's a contest, guys. Just get over it. Really, just get over it. Have fun. Make as many contacts as you can. And then Monday, you go back to whatever you got to do. Realistically, how many contests a year do you really got to deal with it? You got sweepstakes, you got CQ Worldwide, and you got Field Day, right? 3 weekends out of 52 that you got to play the game. Everyone is pretty honest on like Parks on the Air. Everyone's pretty honest. Like, if you do some of the other stuff like the VHF and the microwave stuff, those guys are pretty honest. They'll give you a true signal report. But the contests are contests. And just let it go. Okay? You're 5'9", even if I disagree with you just right now. And that's what really grinds my gears.
All right. Well, I got something that grinds my
gears.
Whoa.
That's my line.
Hold on. I'm stepping on Jill's territory. That grinds my gears.
Well, now are we all airing our grievances? That doesn't come up until Festivus.
I'm gonna have to get that clip for next month.
Oh boy.
Festivus, a holiday for the rest
right
of us.
After right after the Feats of Strength.
Yeah. Oh, what grinds my gears are 17-meter operators that think it's their own private band.
Not just a tuner-upper. Not just a tuner-upper. Someone just laying down a carrier on you all day.
No, not more than a carrier. So.
It was full-on 3K static. How he didn't blow his finals, I don't.
Wall-to-wall noise. So what makes 17 meters different than any other band? Nothing than a gentleman's agreement that those big contests will not operate on them. Otherwise, it's fair game for everything else. So it's if we want to do Parks on the Air on 17 meters, we can do Parks on the Air. If we want to chase DX on 17, we can chase DX. If we want to kick back and rag chew, if I'm doing a park and you want to rag chew with me, I'll engage with that, and we can talk for the next 20 minutes, but you're not going to chase me off that band because you don't like the sound of my CQ.
Because his CQ brings the boys to the yard, okay? We saw that. Like, you call it CQ, and it is like flies on you know what.
Yes.
Oh, I agree with that one. POTA hunters who run their tuner on the activated frequency.
Yeah, we're getting some amens in the chat here.
The thing is, that's not even. I'm sorry, but that's not even just POTA. That's contesting. That's general everyday operating.
I'm going to say this about contesting and tuning up. When you're in a big contest, so you go 3 kc off the tune up, there's someone there too.
That is true.
You're supposed to do.
I'll agree with you there.
You know, so you're going to tune up on someone. Maybe you go
Yeah.
KC and a half up or down. I mean, it's all over the place. So you got to. I don't tune up on the frequency that I'm going to call back on, but I'm probably still stepping up on someone. Now I have
You're
an
still
auto
stepping
tuner
on
here.
someone.
It's quick. It's not like the guys who are whistling into their 1500 watt amp. Okay, that's I'm probably just a fly buzzing around someone's head compared to those guys.
I got a notch. I got the auto notch, and I can work through that. Just hit the auto notch, it's gone. And tuner uppers don't bother me at all. So it's
that guy
except that guy in 17, he was really pissing me off.
Do you have a clip of that?
Oh, I got the whole shebang on video. So
if you're on Patreon,
yes, the patrons will see it next week probably.
Right.
But it was horrendous. And I worked through it. I got like 40 some contacts on 17 meters last weekend, and 20 of them were dealing with some malcontent that decided he didn't like the looks of me. So it's
called an Apple Hotel. You don't got to give him some professional name like a malcontent. He's an Apple Hotel.
And honestly, if it wasn't for him, Michael, I was going to try for a 17-meter contact. I could hear you when he wasn't blasting you out.
And speaking of people who are performing like some interference, hello to my daughter, Megan. Oh, see, my daughter's down here. She's going to come in and say hi, guys.
There she is.
There was a lot of drama today. I got an earful. It wasn't her fault. I'm going to say that, but there was a lot of drama.
No, of course, never is. So I don't know, Travis. You got anything that grinds your gears tonight since we're airing our grievances?
Putting me on the spot. Sure. This one's directed at someone that's in the chat as well.
Oh, Michael!
Since he went shots fired. Mode shame.
Mode shamers. Oh.
Mode shamers. I don't care if you're working sideband, CW, PSK, FT8. If you're on the air having fun, good for you.
Yeah. Okay.
A contact is a contact is a contact.
Contact is a contact.
Even if you make it with a crutch. I mean, I left FT8 out one day and I woke up and I had worked all states. And I was halfway to DXCC. You know, that little bird you put some water in and it bounces up and down? You know, if you get the timing of that just right, it'll just push the mouse button for you for FTA.
Except
right?
Wow.
You know? I'm not saying it's like shooting fish in a barrel, but all the fish are in a row and they're circling, okay?
You better be careful or we're going to get the CW guys in here and they're going to shame us all.
That is true.
And you know what? I would take their shame.
So would I. Truly, I would too.
You're right. Yeah, we're pretty much, we're just phoning it in, guys. Literally phoning it in.
Oh, man. I guess the new trend now, since we're grinding gears, is calling Park to Parks while sitting in your living room watching reruns of I Love Lucy. So there's people not in a park activating parks, I guess. So it's
Ricky.
Yeah, it's oh man. But yep. Oh, we got see now we stirred the pot.
We're in trouble now.
Bring it. We're ready. Let's go. Mano a mano.
So okay, all right, what's coming up? We're gonna start to wind things down here. So like I said, I'm gonna be at the what's it called, the Fox Cities, I don't know what the
FCARC.
Yeah, it's the Fox Cities Amateur Radio Club's Hamfest. This is where I'm going to be on Sunday morning, November 6th, Starlight Club in Kakanu, Wisconsin. They're giving away an ICOM ID's 5100A. I might have to stay around till the end. A lot of good things here.
You'd probably get another 4040.
The Wolf River guys will be there. I talked to them, and so they said they'll be there. It's at the Starlight Club, so it's. I think the bar is usually open too if you need a drink.
Yeah, it's a little early on a Sunday for a cocktail, but I mean,
this is Wisconsin, so
This is a Bloody Mary breakfast.
Bloody Marys. So it's that's my Sunday plan. Christine's going to be down in Madison visiting my daughter and going to a I think it's an herbal fest or something like that. I don't know.
Herbal fest in Madison.
That could be dangerous.
People have been asking plans for the little what you call it, the transformer here. So this will probably drop next week. I'll do a little video on winding that coil. So look for that. I got another Parks on the Air activation coming up in 2 weeks. That one will probably drop. That's the one with the Alpha Hotel that Joe talks about. And then we're getting towards the end. I mean, holidays are coming up, so
your holiday shopping guide will come out. Your 10 best.
Yeah, my annual shopping guide. So look forward to that.
So what to get Joe for Christmas?
What to get Joe for Christmas? There we go.
A straight key.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the next live stream on the Thursday, December 1st.
That will be our ugly sweater edition.
Oh, there. I'll get out the Santa hats. So
there we go.
So a lot of stuff coming up in November, even though it's getting colder outside. I got to transition from outdoor activities to indoor activities, or I suppose outdoor activities with a lot more gear on. But
you got to clean the garage and get the teardrop back in there first.
I got to do that. I got about 6 bags of aluminum cans I got to pull out. Once I get those recycled, I'll be good to go.
Mountain Dew. Jeez, 6 bags.
You're going to be in the
You
money.
might have a problem.
Most of them are from my son. Yeah, he doesn't. I couldn't believe how many cans are found in his apartment. So.
Oh Lord. You got to recoup some of that rent money you give them.
There you go. Yep. M9 wants to know if Hamfests are well attended anymore. Not been in one in years. Yeah, they've COVID put the big bite into the Hamfest, but they're starting to turn around. The last couple I've been to have been decent, so people are starting to.
The one we were in Eau Claire was pretty good.
Yeah,
and the one in Fox Valley and Kaukauna is always pretty. The past few years has always been pretty well.
That one's well attended.
Yeah,
we lost a big Hamfest though. Down in Waukesha, Wisconsin. That's just outside of Milwaukee. The West Dallas Club always put on a big expo in January, and this happened even before COVID. They were having a hard time getting enough volunteers, and that was just the final nail on the coffin. And that the biggest show in the state's now gone, unfortunately. So it's so. That's the way it goes sometimes, but opportunity for a club or another group to get a new one, start a new Hamfest, get some new blood in there. So it's
exactly.
We got people bailing on us. So I'm going to say thanks a lot, everybody, for stopping by. Alan, thanks for coming in, and David, and everybody else, and so Brent, and so thank. Like I said, December 1st, we'll be there.
Thanks to Travis for phoning it in with the green screen back there.
Yeah, thanks, Travis, for joining us today.
Now background shielding you. How you like them apples?
There's just no pleasing you, is there?
I have no shame.
You're on a roll tonight. You're on a roll tonight.
So. All right. So I'm gonna have to turn the hose on one of you guys. So. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michael, KB9 VBR.
I'm Joe, KD9 CJX.
And I'm Travis, W9HDG.
You have a great
Thanks for
evening and
the delay there,
step
Travis.
Buddy. 7-3.
7-3. Have a good night.